Dear friends, this Shabbat we'll be reading the Torah portion of Vayetze. Vayetze talks about Yaakov, the third of our forefathers, the third patriarch, coming into his own. He has to leave his parents' home, the home where nurtured his Judaism, his love for God, his Torah knowledge, his outlook on the world, and now he had to go out on his own, and he went to a place far away to family, but a very different type of environment. And there, we read how he successfully built a life. He married his wives. He had his family, very successful materially. And spent 20 years doing that. There was a lot of challenges. He had a father-in-law who was a crook, a con artist, a deceiver, deceived him with his wife, gave him his other daughter first, and then running his business, never wanted to compensate him correctly. But yet, Yaakov never veered from the path of Torah. He remained honest to the core. Even when he worked for his father-in-law, he never slacked off. If he undertook to do something, he did it according to the commitment that he had made. He followed through on everything exactly the way he was brought up, living a Jewish life as they did then. But what we find is very interesting. That once he had married and he had the bulk of his children, his 11 sons and daughter Dinah, he finally says to his wives, his father-in-law, I want to go back home. I want to go to the next stage of my life. I want to go back to Israel and to the next stage of my life. The question is, what now? If he couldn't handle his father-in-law, why didn't he leave earlier, right after he got married, after he was fooled and deceived by his father-in-law? And if things were going well, why rush? Why not wait? And the answer is that Yaakov, with all of his success, his focus was on his family. And when he saw he had given birth to all of his children, and now is the serious time of bringing them up in the proper path of Torah study, of conduct, of living as a Jew, he realized that is what is of utmost importance. This is what I have to think about right now. It's time to move on, move closer back to home where I can give them so much more of it. So though he kept them Jewish when they were young, but to really allow them to develop into their Jewishness in the fullest way, he wanted to go back home, back where it will be much more conducive. And so it is that we have to remember that we have to focus on the great merit we have to help mold our children in the right way. God gives us a gift, children. And it's our responsibility as parents, our responsibility as leaders in the community, our responsibility as the Jewish people of this generation to ensure that Jewish children have every opportunity to live a full Jewish life, have the opportunity to gain the knowledge of what Jewish life consists of, our rich heritage, not just the fun, the Hanukkah gifts, the good foods, Passover and Rosh Hashanah, maybe Shabbat, but real, authentic Jewish knowledge, Jewish experiences that invigorate, that embolden, that build character, that build strength, the most powerful of tools that exists in the world, the most powerful of directives, the Torah way. And I'm proud to say, I'm wearing my shirt of our matching campaign, that we at Chabad are very committed to making sure that every Jewish child has the ability and the opportunity to have a Jewish experience, a real Jewish experience that's rich, to open up their mind about how to start exploring their own Jewishness, the depth of their soul and their heart and their minds. We are so blessed. And Jacob knew that now that he was blessed, it's time to give them the right opportunity. And this is as well what this Shabbos and Sunday is a day that commemorates the second Lubavitch Rebbe when he was released from prison for teaching Torah and spreading Torah and then passed away on the 10th of Kislev, that he dedicated himself to expounding on Torah that everyone can understand the richness and the depth of the Torah. So as we enter into this Shabbat and Torah reading, let's dedicate ourselves again to take it up a notch for ourselves, our own families, and the children, all Jewish children, because we're all responsible for each other, and give every Jewish child the complete opportunity and the full package of beautiful Jewish life and experiences. May God bless you. We love you all. Shabbat Shalom. Candlelighting time in Montreal is 4:08 p.m.